It's the first day of a brand new month, March the 1st, and we have our reading for you, the Tao Daily Tarot. And as usual, here's a heads up. And what you really have to focus on is this card right here, the overall temperature of the reading, Between Worlds. And we see what kind of worlds we're in between. I'll have all the details for you. It's a great reading here on this first day in March. Well, hello and welcome to this latest edition of the Tao Daily Tarot. Glad to have you on board, whether you're a first timer or you've been following me for the past few months or so. Either way, I appreciate it. Much gratitude. You guys make my day. For the first timers, let me explain what makes this tarot reading different from other tarot readings. First of all, I do archetypal readings. I really follow the images on the cards. I try not to add too much, although over the course of the reading, I'll start to intuit some things and certainly add them in. I only use 8 cards. This is the Tao. Very simple, very direct, so 8 cards are more than enough. And I focus on energy. The energy of coming, going, pushing, pulling. The things that you have to deal with every day. Things are coming, things are going, things are pushing, things are pulling. What I do is I read the energies. It's like an energetic weather report. You're finding out what the energies are around you, and then you make the decisions in terms of how those energies apply in your life. The idea is to empower you in a very quick period. About 10 minutes is what I aim for the reads, although it might go a little bit either way, a couple minutes either way, depending on the cards. I also do something called the Hyper Shuffle. You'll almost see that coming up very shortly. And one more thing before we jump into the reading. Remember, whether you're a first timer or you've been with me for a while, please like, subscribe, at least those 2 things, and it will help me build a little bit of clout with YouTube, and they'll help me build the channel. I thank you in advance, believe me. Alrighty, so we've gotten that taken care of. How about if we get to the reading? And I mentioned just a moment ago the Hyper Shuffle. How about if we do it? So, there you go. That's the Hyper Shuffle. Alrighty, let's see if we can't get to the reading here for you. When I was kind of setting up doing the pre-reading, a couple of interesting cards came out. One was the 8 of Wands. That's communication on some level. Either somebody with you picking up information off the internet, or maybe you communicating with yourself. Your thoughts you begin to have sort of a moment, a peak moment, the light bulb goes off. I also have the 4 of Wands in reverse. And what that tells me is you're not quite settled yet. And of course, I didn't expect that. You either, I suspect, as well. But nevertheless, let's get to the reading. Just a little bit of background there about the pre-shuffle. We begin with the temperature card here, the oracle card, Between Worlds. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is very, very important, because a lot of people feel exactly that way right now. Yeah. We're not exactly, they're pushing the new normal. Very few people are buying it, although they know in their heart things will not go back to the way they were. But we find ourselves, this is the overall feel of the reading, Between Worlds. And we begin in the side of the reading where we got the coming and going energy. We've got the 7 of Swords here. Very often when people read this thing, they'll go a thief, alrighty? Some sort of sabotage or subterfuge. But it can also be planning, thinking, strategizing. And I think that is the side I am going to lean on most especially, just in part because of the overall oracle card, the idea of Between Worlds. But I think people are doing a lot of planning, a lot of figuring, a lot. How do I get back to normal? Or how do I get some sense of normal, my definition of normal? How do I get it back in my life? We go from there to the Lovers. If this was a love reading, I would say, isn't that wonderful? But remember that this is also a situation where there is a divine connection. And I'm thinking it might be the divine connection with us. That's what we're looking for. We're looking, it's sort of like an electric cord, looking for a socket to plug in. I want to plug you into life. Remember, we're in between worlds. That's the idea. That's the feeling in this. And the Lovers is, I think, trying to discover, where do you find the love in your life? Where do you find that belonging, that connection? And I think that's what a lot of us are looking for. Hence, of course, the idea of planning and subterfuge. Yeah, maybe there, maybe there. We move to the other side now for pushing and pulling energies. We get the Tower. Yeah. The Tower is not always a bad thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing here. I think what it means is calling for taking our lives, taking them down brick by brick, and then rebuilding them. Because we're looking for that connection. We're looking for the Lover's energy. Okay? Yes, it could be somebody else that you want in your life. Yes, there could be something romantic. But I'm also thinking that there is a disconnect in our lives between us. Not only other people, but ourselves too, because things have changed radically. And so I think the Tower indicates that is what is happening. And we're doing it probably voluntarily. And here we go for Justice. Beautiful card, very nice card. And that's really what we're seeking at this point, is the idea of justice. The idea of, okay, it's not going to be the same. I get that. But can it at least be fair? Can it at least be just? And that's really, I think, what we're looking for as much as anything else. Alrighty, but we're trying to balance those scales. And if you notice there, with these are the scales. There's also the sword of truth, of knowledge. We're trying to figure out just how can we make our life fairer, okay, or at least seem fairer, because we're looking to make that Lover's connection. And again, not necessarily romantic at all, but maybe love in the true sense, self-love and just love for humanity. We're really at this point sort of disconnected and separated from ourselves on many different levels. We move here to the magnifier, and this, of course, is the Queen of Pentacles. She knows her own value. She knows her own worth. Yes, Pentacles can mean things, can mean money. But again, Pentacles are the things that are important to you. And she knows her worth. She knows her value. And I suspect, that being the case, that's what we're all searching for. A sense of value, a sense of what am I worth. And in fact, we got here the Seven of Pentacles. And that's always kind of the indecision card for the Pentacles. It's like, okay, I'm working on all this. You got all my Pentacles in my tree. I see them all. I'm moving along. I'm taking care of business. Do I want to continue? And that's the question. Do you want to keep supporting values that you had before this COVID crazy stuff began? Or do you need to change your sense of values? What is important to you? Maybe you were chasing the wrong thing. A lot of people chase the money and have found out, okay, yeah, you need money to live, but really that's not the end all be all. So I think it's a question of values. It's a question of connecting with ourselves, the Lovers, and we're working very hard to probably tear down to some degree what we had, what we thought, what we felt, so that we can rebuild again and do it in fairness, in justice. That really appears to be what's going on. And to emphasize this, here's the vice versa card, the Sun in reverse. And the Sun in reverse is really pretty straight ahead. The Sun illuminates and brightens and energizes everything. It's probably the best card in the whole deck. The difficulty with it, however, is that when it is this way, that is, when it is in reverse, well, that makes things just a whole lot more difficult and a whole lot more perplexing for us. So you have lingering doubts. You're not able to focus on the positive. You have a clouded perspective because you're trying to figure all of this out for yourself. That tower, that lover's connection, you're trying to just recalibrate your life. And so at this point, you are in the process. I, again, would look toward the new moon in Pisces coming up in a couple of weeks. I think that will provide some real insight into how you move forward because we are ready to move forward. All righty? Pretty positive reading, and I think a pretty good reading, letting you know that you're on the right course, just work ahead to do. So be strong, be positive, take that sun energy and energize your life because right now you're in two different worlds, but you'll figure it out. All righty, again, like and subscribe, please. That's very important for the YouTube folks. We're done with the reading for today. I will do another one tomorrow because I have a brand new tarot reading for you every single day, 365 days a year. So that'll be coming up on the first day of a new month, right? Or is it the second day? Yeah, we're headed towards it. Today is the first day. Boy, these February cutting it short kind of cuts me short too. So today is March the 1st. Brand new month, brand new attitude. 2 weeks away from that brand new moon in Pisces. Ooh, nice stuff. I hope you check in with me tomorrow. If you don't, between now and the next time you check in with me, which I hope is soon, blessings.